Hello everyone, welcome to SKU Digital Learning Classes. I am Dr. Gaurav Swaroop Nigam, Department of Botany, Shri Krishna University, Chhatarpur, Madhya Pradesh. Today's lecture topic is Algae General Characteristics Feature and Classification. So first is what is algae and what are the characteristic features of algae. सवाल क्या है? Algae is the simplest eukaryotic organism and it may be unicellular or multicellular. And plant body is thalloid in nature. What is the meaning of thalloid? Thalloid meaning is a plant body which is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. So that plant body will called thalloid plant body. Nutrition in algae will be mostly they are photoautotrophic in nature or chemoheterotrophic in nature because they derive their energy from the light and produce their food their own. That is why they are photoautotrophic in nature. Sometimes they are heterotrophs because they derive their nutrition or food from the other dead and decaying material. That is why they are heterotrophic in nature because they are producing their food from the other organism. So, and occurrence, what is the occurrence of algae? They are generally universal in nature. They are found everywhere on the earth. Flagella, if we see the structure of algae, in some algae there are flagella is present. It may be single, it may be pair, and number may be different. It may be isocont or heterocont. Isocont meaning is that the length of the flagella is same, while the heterocont meaning is the length of the flagella in case different. Next is alternation of generation. The life cycle of the algae completed with the two phases of gametophytic and sporophytic generation, that is called the alternation of generation. That how the life cycle proceed in an algae, which is called alternation of generation. And occurrence of algae, they are found in the variety of habitats like freshwater, marine, rocks, soil, plants and within the animals. They are also found in some of the aquatic forms. On the basis of habitat, the algae are classified into three groups. They are aquatic forms, terrestrial forms and algae also present in the unusual habitats. Some of the aquatic algae which are found in freshwater and marine water are present in the ponds, lakes, river like Spirogyra and Chlamydomonas. Some of the marine algae which occur in saline condition, sea or found in the oceans, they are Sargassum or Porphyra. These are the pictures of Sargassum and Porphyra. Now the terrestrial algae. These algae generally found on the rocks, tree trunks and the moist walls. Here we can see on the picture, these algae are present on the tree trunks and these examples are Frischiella and Trentifolia. Now, the algae of unusual habitats. These are the algae which are found in the unusual habitat or other habitat like halophytic algae which are found in the highly saline water. Example is Dunelia salina. This is the picture of Dunelia salina. And the epiphytic algae, these are the algae which are found on the surface of plants and some other algae. These are the Oedogonium. Oedogonium, it looks like the filamentous thallus of forms. Next is epizoic algae. These are the algae which are found on the snails and other fishes. So these are the epizoic algae. An example is Cladophora crisposa which grow on the snail. That is why that is the unusual habitat for these algae. Next are the endozoic algae. These algae grow inside the animals. Example is Juchlorella which is found inside the hydra. Next is symbiotic algae which is found in association with other organisms like lichens and also with the bryophytes, pteridophytes, angiosperm and gymnosperm. Symbiotic means when two organisms live together and they are symbiotic in relation with the other partner in which they are inhabiting. So when the two partners living together and benefiting each other, that phenomena, that association is called symbiotic association. Example, like nostoc is found within the thallus of Anthoceros. So nostoc is the algae and Anthoceros is the bryophyte, and nostoc is living with the thallus of Anthoceros. So that is the symbiotic association, because nostoc provide the atmospheric nitrogen to the Anthoceros thallus, and Anthoceros thallus providing the habitat to the nostoc. So that's why that is the symbiotic relationship between the two. Next is parasitic algae. Algae which parasites the other plants or animals, like Cephalurus virescens, which causes the red rust of the tea. We can see here the red rust of the on the tea leaves. Next is thermophytic algae. These are the algae which grow on the hot springs, like Halosiphon lignosus, and next is cryophytic algae. These are the algae which found on the snow. These are Cladomonas nivalis. These are the Cladomonas nivalis, and these are the Halosiphon lignosus. Thallus diversity. The range of the thallus is very diverse in case of algae. It may be unicellular, multicellular, it may be microscopic to macroscopic, it may be from micron to the several meters of the length. And on the basis of thallus organization, algae is characterized on the following groups, like unicellular forms, like which is found in the case of Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, colonial forms which are found in Volvox and Pediastrum, filamentous forms which is found in case of Eulothrix and Spirogyra, siphonaceous form which is found in the case of Vaucaria, and parenchymatous form which is found in case of Alba. So that is the thallus diversity. Next important characteristic features of algae is pigmentation. Pigmentation through which algae shows its characteristic colors, because those are the algae which are present on the earth. They are generally classified on the basis of thallus color, means which color they look like. So great diversity pigmentation is found in the algal groups like chlorophylls, carotenoids and phycoerythrin. Different types of chlorophylls are found which are fat soluble and green in color. These are A, B, C and D. These are the green color pigment. Carotenoids, these are also fat soluble and yellow color in nature, and these are two types, carotenes and xanthophylls, and each one have 5 types and 20 types. Next is phycoerythrin or biliproteins, which include the red colored phycoerythrin. Phycoerythrin is a pigment which is found in case of Rhodophyceae, and blue colored phycocyanins, and phycocyanin is a blue color pigment which is found in the members of Cyanophyceae. Next is the plastids in algae. These are the plastids which contains the chlorophyll pigment, and due to which the thallus has its own color like blue, green, etc. So except in case of Cyanophyceae or blue-green algae, the pigment is present in all the algal members, and they are found embedded in the membrane. So these pigments are found embedded in the membrane. So that is called plastid. In case of blue-green algae, these are called chromoplasm. And chloroplasm or the plastids are two types, leucoplast and chromoplast. Leucoplasts are colorless. Colorless plastids are known as leucoplast, and colored plastids are called chromoplast. Now, the plastid forms in algae. Different algae have different shape and size plastid and different organisms. So that is also the competitive exam question, that which type of plastid form in which class or which particular genus of algae. Like cup shaped plastid found in case of Chlamydomonas and Volvox, discoid shaped found in Vaucaria and Cara, like girdle shaped found in Eulothrix, case of Eulothrix, reticulate shaped found in Oedogonium, and spiral shaped found in Spirogyra. These are the pictures. And satellite shaped or star shaped found in case of Zygnema. Star shaped found in Zygnema. Now, what are the pyrenoids? Pyrenoids are the proteinaceous body which are present inside the starch. So, this is also a very important question for the NEET or some other competitive examination questions, where the proteinaceous body present in the chromatophores and organelles which synthesize and store in the starch. So, that is the pyrenoids. These are the proteinaceous body which includes inside the starch. In some chlorophyceae, pyrenoids surrounded by the starch grain also. So, in case of blue-green algae, again the pyrenoids is absent. Now, what is the reserve food material? Or when an algae synthesizes their own food, then the food is stored in the form of reserve food, and from these reserve food the algae derive their energy or ATP. So, these are called the reserve food material for the algae when the food accumulates in the form of polysaccharides. And different class of algae have different food reserve, like Cyanophyceae class of algal group have Cyanophycean starch, and Chlorophyceae group of algal have starch as a reserve food material. Rhodophyceae have Floridean starch, which is very important question for the competitive exam, and Laminaria and mannitol is the reserve food material for the Phaeophyceae member of algae. Reproduction in algae, there are three types of process of reproduction. One is vegetative reproduction, asexual and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is a process of reproduction in which a part of a thallus is used for the production of the young ones. That is called vegetative reproduction, like fission, harmogonia, fragmentation, branches and budding, etc. Asexual reproduction is by motile or non-motile spores, generally zoospores, aplanospore, hypnospore, akinete or tetraspore. So, that is the asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction can be autogamous, isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous gamete fusion. Autogamous means when the fusing gametes are from the one parent, that is called autogamous. Isogamous means when the two fusing gametes from the different parent but they are same in shape and size, that is called isogamous. And isogamous means when the two fusing gametes are from the different parent but they are of different shape and size, then anisogamous. Oogamous means one male is small and female is large, that is called oogamous gamete fusion. Now, the life cycle in algae. Life cycle is generally complete with the two process of gametophytic generation and sporophytic generation, and these two haploid and diploid generation alternate each other, like haploid gametophytic generation and diploid is a sporophytic generation, and there are 5 types of life cycle in algae. First is haplontic, second is diplontic, third is haplobiontic, diplobiontic and haplodiplontic. When the haploid life cycle, haploid part or gametophytic phase is majority for a time, then it is called haplontic. When diploid or sporophytic part is for a long time, that is called diplontic. When half haploid and half diploid, that is called haplobiontic, and diplobiontic when first is diploid and second is haploid. So, that is diplobiontic, and that is for the haplodiplobiontic, which is for the carposporophyte or for the tetrasporophyte. So, these are the types for the life cycle of the algae. Now, the classification of algae. Classification is classified by the Frisch in 1935 on the basis of pigmentation on the thallus, on the basis of types of flagella, on the basis of thallus structure, on the basis of presence of reserve food material. So, the mode of reproduction. So, they have been classified on the basis of these particular characters, and these classification is published in his book called The Structure and Reproduction of Algae. So, the first class is Chlorophyceae or green alga, because there is chlorophyll pigment is present, that is why they are called green alga or Chlorophyceae member. So the pigment is chlorophyll A, B and carotenoids. Reserve food material is starch. Structure is generally unicellular, motile or heterotychous filamentous like, and the pyrenoids are also present there, and reproduction takes place by isogamous to advanced oogamous type, because oogamous type sexual reproduction is advanced in case of algae. And example are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Chlorella, Pediastrum and Spirogyra. Second class is Xanthophyceae or yellow-green algae, and these are found in fresh water or some found in marine water. Pigment is yellow xanthophyll, which is found abundantly. Reserve food material is oil, and structure is unicellular motile to some filamentous. Reproduction is by sexual reproduction and also by isogamous type. And examples are Botidium and Boccaria. Next class is Chrysophyceae, and these are found in the cold fresh water or some of the marine water. And the pigments are chromatophores, brown or orange colored. These are maybe phycoerythrin as the chief reserve food material. Phycoerythrin is a very important question for the competitive exam, and it has been asked several times that phycoerythrin is the reserve food material of which class of algae. So it is a very important question for the NEET and other competitive examination. And the reserve food material is fat and leucosin. Structure is unicellular motile to branch filamentous. Reproduction is sexual reproduction, which may be isogamous type, and found in Chromulina and Chrysomoeba. Fourth is Bacillariophyceae, or we generally call them diatoms, and these are generally found in the fresh seawater, soil and some of the terrestrial habitats. So pigments are chromatophores, which are yellow or golden brown in color. So the thallus appear like yellow or golden brown in color. And the reserve food material is fat or volutin. Volutin is also a very important question for the competitive examination. So structure is unicellular and colonial in nature, and reproduction is same, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction or ordinary for the some of the individuals. Examples are Pinularia and Navicula. Fifth class is Cryptophyceae. These are generally found in marine or some of the fresh water. Pigments are chromatophores, and chromatophores are usually parietal in nature. Reserve food material is solid carbohydrate, or in some cases it may be starch. The structure is generally motile cells, and reproduction is of isogamous type. Examples are Chromomonas and Cryptomonas. Next class is Dinophyceae or Peridinaceae. These are the members of algae which are found in the water or fresh water, and the pigment are starch or oil filled. Reserve food materials are chromophores, yellow brown in color, and the structure is unicellular to multicellular or filamentous types. Reproduction is same, isogamous types, and the examples are dinoflagellates and peridinium. Next class is Chloromonidae, and these are found generally in freshwater forms, and the pigments are chromatophores, which are green in color, so that's why the bright green color thallus appear, and the reserve food material is in the form of oil droplets, and the structure is motile flagellate structure, and reproduction is by longitudinal fusion. So that is all about the next class about Euglenophyceae, which are the flagellates, and these are the only freshwater forms. These are only found in the fresh water. These are not found in the marine water, and the pigments are chromatophores, and the reserve food materials are polysaccharides and paramylin, and the structure is motile flagellates. They may be unicellular or multicellular with large prominent, and reproduction is by fission. Fission is by asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction, which is not generally known in case of these class of members. Examples are Euglena and Heteronema. Next class is Phaeophyceae, or we can say the brown algae, because they have fucoxanthin, that is why the thallus of algae appears brown in color. And pigments have chlorophyll A, C, carotenes and xanthophyll. In case of Phaeophyceae, chlorophyll B is absent. So that is also a important question for the competitive exam, that is in which class of algae chlorophyll B is absent. So that is the Phaeophyceae. And reserve food material is mannitol as well as laminarin and fats. Reproduction is by sexual reproduction, isogamous to oogamous, and the same flagella attached with the other alternation of generation. So examples are ectocarpus, sargassum, laminaria and fucus. Next class is Rhodophyceae or red algae. These are the red in color, and the reserve food material is Floridean starch. The pigments are chromatophores, phycoerythrin, chlorophyll A, D and carotenes. Reproduction is by advanced oogamous type, and the examples are Bacillariophyceae and Polysiphonia. Next class is Myxophyceae, Cyanophyceae or blue-green algae. These are blue and green in color because of the carotenes, xanthophylls and phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. That is why they are blue and green in color. The reserve food material is sugar and glycogen. The structure is generally filamentous in nature, and reproduction is by fission, and examples are Oscillatoria, nostoc and anabina. Thank you so much.